And we are live. Hello and welcome to this stream of, today's Kitchen Meta stream of Harry Potter TCG gameplay. If you are new, then I will say as always that we are playing the classical format, but with two house rule changes that I've made to the format. If you want to know the details about why, you can find a video for that in the description. But to sum it up, the card caught by Snape is banned and the unique rule only applies to your own board. Today I will show two new decks and then you will get to see them against each other, and you will also get to see other decks played against each other. I will be looking at the comments, but I'll be focused on the game a lot of the time. So I might not answer right away, but I'll try to answer any questions in the chat. And also if you have suggestions on matchups for today that you want to see between two decks, we will try to take those into account as well if we can fit them in the schedule. So with that being said, let's jump right into the first deck of today, which is, let me find it. It's over here. This one is called Draco Control. This is a very straightforward and simple deck, and deceptively, it may not be one of the best decks, but it's an interesting concept, and I'll try to explain why. So this one plays Draco Malfoy as the starting character, and Draco Malfoy lets you use an action and discard a card from your hand to look at your opponent's hand and discard a card from their hand. And what we are trying to use that for in this deck is to take Lesson Destruction to the next level, where if we're up against the so-called normal deck, where the bottleneck early on is often drawing enough lessons to start playing your cards, then we can use Draco Malfoy to discard their lessons before they get a chance to play them. And if we are up against a character deck, we can discard important cards like Ginny and Seamus and the Fat Lady. And so basically we are discarding the cards that are the most important to whatever deck we're playing against. and this works because whatever that is, you of course can't include infinite copies of those cards, or you won't do it. And yes, so if you discard, let's say, the Ginny that's in your opponent's starting hand, then they in order to draw the next one, they have to draw quite a bit of cards, probably. Same with lessons. Let's say your opponent is playing 20 lesson cards. You discarded 2 of their lessons. Now, since every third card in their deck roughly is a lesson, that means that they need to draw roughly 6 cards to get the next lesson. And so even though we're spending a card and an action, they might be spending more actions to regain what we are discarding. And that's sort of the logic that we're going for here. The rest of the deck is very similar to the McGonagall control deck that's been on the channel, where we are trying to destroy the lessons that they actually played. So we are playing a lot of lesson destruction cards in the deck. And what we can get away with in this deck is we can play some really niche lesson destruction cards, because since Draco forces us, or not doesn't force us, but when we use Draco, we are discarding cards anyway. So that means we are okay with playing some more situational cards, because if we're playing a matchup where we can't use those cards, then we can discard those. So here we can play cards that only discard specific types of lesson cards. So we are playing the 5 different cards that require 2 power and destroy a particular kind of lesson. So in this case, we are playing a restricted section that lets us discard a transfiguration lesson, Epoximize that lets us discard a charms lesson, Cauldron to Sieve that lets us discard a potions lesson, Aviforce that lets us discard a Care of Magical Creatures lesson, and Cancelled Practice that lets us discard a Quidditch lesson. So again, if we can't use these in a matchup, we discard them with Draco's ability. And the reason they're good is because we can start playing them so early. So that means the earlier you can start discarding your opponent's lessons, the bigger the chances are that they don't get to play a card as early as they want to. So we're playing 4 copies of each of those. And the rest of the deck is pretty straightforward, just like the McGonagall deck. We're trying to get to a point where we're trying to slow our opponent down by destroying their lessons, and then we try to finish them off with creatures. But before we get to the creatures, we are playing 2 spells that are very that just make a lot of sense in this kind of deck. So we're deciding to cap this deck at 4 power, because any cards that we draw or lessons we draw beyond 4 power, we can just always discard them with Draco. So we don't really feel the need to play more lesson cards and get to a higher power count. We can use those lesson cards to keep discarding cards from our opponent's hand. And one thing to mention about that is we can play the early in the game, we disrupt our opponent's setup with Draco, and later on in the game we are disrupting their win cons. So first we slow them down, and once we have slowed them down sufficiently, or we can't really stop them anymore, then we try to discard the cards that they use to finish the game. So then we can use Draco to maybe disrupt some combo that will finish us off, or whatever other useful card they might have. So back to Dobby's Disappearance. So this one I've shown before on the channel. It's just a no-brainer pick, especially for this kind of deck. Requires 4 power, lets us return one of our opponent's cards to their hand, and we get an extra action this turn. So essentially, we're trading a card in our hand to set them back 1 action, or even more if we're getting a character back into their hand. And then we have Picking on Neville, where we can choose one of their cards, and then they have to discard it if they don't discard 2 other cards that they have in play. So this can also be used to destroy lessons, but it's more versatile, can destroy other stuff as well. And the rest of the deck is just creatures that, while our opponent is struggling to do their setup, hopefully we can finish them off with creatures. So we're playing Black Bat, which is the best 4-cost creature that deals damage. So it deals 2 when we play it, and 2 each turn as well. And I've talked about it before in the channel. If you want to see me talk about it in detail, check out the Fred and George Weasley video on the channel called Endless Adventures. The other 2 are worse versions, but it's the best we can get for 4 power, which is what we're aiming for. So they do the same thing, Ravenclaw Eagle and Boa Constrictor, each requiring 4 power, and they have 2 health as well. Yeah, and then of course we're playing some lessons so we can play our cards. So 9 Care of Magical Creatures and 11 Transfiguration cards. Of course, we're playing more Transfiguration cards because we are playing cards that we need to play early that require Transfiguration power. So it's quite important that we get a Transfiguration lesson early on. So we're playing a few more to increase the odds of playing the Transfiguration lessons. Oh, sorry. I just realized I have the wrong screen up. God damn it. There we go. Damn, that's a that's a big fuck up. Yeah, my play buddy for today just pointed it out. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so let me show you the cards then once again. So here are the lesson cards, Draco Malfoy that I've been talking about, and these are the spells that destroy a particular type of lesson card. And then we have Dobby's Disappearance that I was talking about, and Picking on Neville, and then the creatures Black Bat, Ravenclaw Eagle, and Boa Constrictor. So that is the entire Draco Malfoy deck. Unfortunately, you couldn't see it as I was talking about it, so maybe a bit unclear, but it should be clearer once we start playing. And yeah, let's look at the next deck for today. So where do we have this? So this is a pretty special one, I would say. This one is the other Draco deck for today. So this Draco is called Draco Malfoy Slytherin, and what he does is that once during each of our turns, when you use an action to play an item card, you get one more action card that turn. So this is our starting character. And so obviously, in order to make good use of this effect, we are playing a lot of item cards. And yeah, so the reason this is so good is that we can start playing item cards really early on. So this is almost like getting an extra action every turn. We might actually, in some games, trigger Draco's ability every single turn because we're playing a lot of item cards. And this means we can really accelerate our game plan. Like we can set up very quickly and threaten to get to a lot of power quickly because we are playing item cards that give a lot of power. So let me give some examples of the item cards we have. So we have Knut that only requires 1 Charms lesson to play, and it's a money card, and you can only play 1 money card each turn. And it says before your turn, if this card isn't played, discard it, and you get 1 more action this turn. So normally this card wouldn't be that great because you use an action and a card to play it, and then when it's discarded, you only get 1 action back. But since we're playing Draco, if we play it turn 1, we basically get 2 actions back, 1 from Draco's ability and 1 from Knut. So trading a card and an action for 2 actions is actually really good. And then we have some more standard items. We have 2 that allow us to draw cards and require 2 power. So we have the Charms version called the Standard Book of Spells. And it says you may use an action and discard this card from play to draw 3 cards, and it provides a Charms power. And it requires 2 power, but yeah, so this we can start playing pretty early as well. We can't play turn 1, unfortunately, but if we play Knut turn 1, then as early as turn 2, we can use the standard book of spells to gain, to keep triggering Draco, because we want to be triggering him every turn to make sure that we get value out of his ability. And also later on, these books can be used to draw more cards if we want more cards. Again, we have a way to turn cards into actions with Knut, and also Sickle that I will show later on. So, and it's also important that we get to dig for cards in this deck because, as I will show you later on, we're playing a big combo. And in order to draw the combo pieces that we want, we will probably have to draw a decent amount of cards. Yeah, and we're playing the equivalent of this card, but in the potions version called Magical Drafts and Potions. And yeah, so it's exactly the same, except it requires potions power instead. After that, we have Copper Cauldron. This one requires 3 power and a potion symbol. And to play it, we have to return one of our potions lessons from play to our hand, and we get 2 power. So with Draco, this is great. We're gaining 2 power, but we're getting a card back, and we're getting the action from Draco. So we're gaining essentially a power, a card, and an action by playing this. Then we have Self-Stirring Cauldron, which is a really explosive card. It requires 4 power and a potion symbol. And in order to play it, we have to discard 2 of our potions lessons from play. But we also get 1 more action the turn we play it, and it provides 4 potions power. So this is quite huge because the turn we play this, we trigger Draco's ability, and we also get 1 action from this. So if we start our turn by playing this, then we can get to 3 actions, and at the same time we are gaining 2 power, which means we can sort of make a jump in terms of power. And what we're trying to do in most cases is when we play this card, we try to finish the game in the same turn so that they don't have the chance to discard this, because if they do, we have discarded 2 of our potions lessons for basically nothing. So we try to use this card when we're about to finish the game. Next one is Dragonheart Wand. So this one requires 5 power, and we can only play it if we have at least 2 charms power. And it is a wand, and you can only have 1 wand in play. But the card is extremely powerful. It provides 3 charms power. So it does have some requirements, of course, and you can only have 1, but 1 is really all you need, because providing 3 power in just 1 card is incredibly good. And again, this triggers Draco. It's an item card. Yeah, so we have these 2 that give us a lot of power in a very quick fashion. And then we have Sickle, which is another money card, so you can only play 1 money card each turn. This one requires 7 power and a charm symbol, and it says before your turn, if this card is in play, discard it and you get 2 more actions this turn. So this is just like Knut, except it gives us 1 more action than Knut does. Of course, we can only play it later once we have 7 power, but still, this allows us to get a lot of actions in 1 turn. And again, as I was saying with Self-Stirring Cauldron, we might be trying to end the game in 1 turn by playing a lot of playing Self-Stirring Cauldrons and some other cards in 1 turn. Well, this is even easier to do if we have triggered a card like Sickle on our turn. So in the previous example, instead of having 3 actions, we would have 5 actions, which would give us plenty of time to play more cards if we still don't have the amount of power that we need to pull off our combo. So I guess it's time for me to actually get to the combo so that you understand what we're trying to do. And this is something I've shown in another video, the Ron's Help video on the channel. We are playing Dobby's Help that forces our opponent to draw 10 cards. However, it requires 10 power and a charm symbol. And then we are combining that with a card called Venomous Tentacular Juice, which says that your opponent, basically that our opponent has to draw twice as many cards as they have in their hand. So if by playing 2 Dobby's Help and 1 Venomous Tentacular Juice, we can guarantee a kill. And by playing a Dobby's Help and 2 Venomous Tentacular Juice, we can also guarantee a kill. But there is also a lot of cases where our opponent already has some amount of cards in their hand, and And this means that we might get away with, we might be able to kill them by just playing one Dobby's Help and one Venomous Tentacular Juice, or one Venom or two Venomous Tentacular Juices. So it's quite a scary combo, especially given how fast this deck can reach the amount of power that we need to play these cards. And a great feature of that is that if we're playing against character decks, they will want to draw cards with Ginny on most turns. If you guys don't remember, let me show. Here's Ginny Weasley that lets our opponent draw cards equal to the number of other characters they have in play at the start of their turn. So with Ginny, they can draw a huge amount of cards, but the drawback of that is that if they don't prevent us from playing our Venomous Tentacular Juice and Dobby's Help somehow, then we can often do some explosive combo where we reach the amount of power that we need by playing, let's say, Self-Stirring Cauldron is probably the best example because it gives us an extra action. And then we finish them off by playing a Dobby's Help and a Venomous Tentacular Juice. So it's quite scary and something that they need to watch out for, which means that in some cases they won't even want to draw with Ginny. Even if we don't have the combo, they don't know if we will have it, and so sometimes they need to play around it even when they're not sure if we have it or not. So this is quite scary given how fast we can do it. And of course there are ways to disrupt this deck. The main problem with playing an item deck is Quirinius Quirrell, I would say. Let me pull that card up. Here he is. So he's the guy that once per game can return all creatures and items to their owner's hands. So given the amount of items we play, that kind of sucks for us. But because we are gaining an action every time we play items, it's not as bad as it could be. Like if we were just playing the items and not getting actions from them. So we can, we're gaining so much value from Draco that taking this hit is not too bad. And again, we're not committing Self-Stirring Cauldron to the board in most cases when we know they can do something like this. So we're saving it until a better time. And and there's, of course, they can play cards like Through the Arc, like adventure cards to disrupt us. This one that says we can't play spell cards and we have to skip 4 actions to solve it. So with this deck, first of all, it's actually one of the few decks that can make use of Through the Arc's reward. It allows us to put an item card from our discard pile into our hand. But in general, this deck has not complete, but some resiliency against adventure cards. So when it comes to, or at least the adventure cards that I think are useful. So when it comes to Through the Arc, we have ways to gain extra actions, which means that we can gain so many actions with cards like Sickle and the combination of Self-Stirring Cauldron and our starting character Draco, that it's easy for us to skip through the actions on Through the Arc. And if they are playing cards like Escaping the Dursleys, that says that we can't use actions to play any cards except lesson cards, and to solve it we have to discard our hand. The reward is that we get to search our deck for any card and put it into our hand. Then this is also a common and good adventure to play, but so we have ways to not, this can be really bad if it forces us to discard our combo pieces, but at least we can recover from it reasonably fast by searching out a book from our deck. We can then use the book to draw cards, and the same thing with Letters from No One. I showed a prison deck on the channel last time with this card that says your opponent may use actions only to draw cards. And it says to solve, your opponent discards 5 cards from his or her hand, and the reward is that your opponent may draw 2 cards. So what I learned recently is we can discard these books when this card is in play. So it's harder to put us in prison with this card because we can have books on the board that easily get us up to the card count that we need to solve the card. Now, of course, if they use Quirrell first, then that's another matter. But yeah, still, there is some built-in resiliency to adventurers in the deck that make it better. And yeah, again, quite explosive deck. You really need to watch out for the combo. Try to disrupt it if you can. And with that, I think it's time for actually seeing these decks go head to head. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't mention the lessons, but we're playing quite a few lessons. I'm not sure if it should be playing this many, but we're playing a lot of them because our plan is quite simple, and all we're really trying to do is get to our combo. So beyond the items that we want to play and the combo pieces, which we're playing 4 of each, we just want to have a lot of lessons in the deck so that we can guarantee that we play our cards on time. You could perhaps fiddle with this a bit, optimize the deck a bit, but this is the general shell, the general idea, and I think it's quite a good one. So yeah, let's jump into a game. I'm gonna poke my little friend here and see if he's ready to play. All right, so it's time. Yeah, just need to wait for the deck to be created. I mean for the game to be created. All right. So entering the game. And I'm not sure how these decks will fare against each other. I'm gonna start by playing the Draco deck. Sorry, both of them are Draco decks. That's the whole point. But yeah, I'm not sure how this item Draco fares against his Draco. His Draco is like way better when it gets to start, because then it has a chance to disrupt what you're trying to do. So this, okay, let's first roll to see who starts. Okay, so it looks like we get to start, and we don't get to draw on our first turn, so we have 2 actions to spend. So this hand was almost good. This is quite unlucky, or lucky but also unlucky, because we got Knut that we want to get early, so we can play this and then play Knut. And when we play Knut, we get an extra action from Draco. But then we don't have any more lesson cards that we can play. So our last action is just to draw a card. And then we pass to him. And it's quite unfortunate. Actually, this may be one of those matchups that's actually miserable, because he can discard our combo pieces with Draco. But we can maybe set up a board where we have a money card like Sickle and some books, and then we can get a lot of actions, draw a lot of cards, and then maybe still pull off the combo. Oh yeah, so he's using Draco's ability. Yeah, this might be a pretty one-sided matchup when I think about it. Yeah, so he's getting rid of Dabi's help. That makes a lot of sense again. Disrupting our combo. So we want to actually not draw our combo pieces. We want to draw as much setup as possible. Get to a high power count. where we can get some actions from Sickle and then draw enough cards to finish him off in one turn before he gets to discard the combo pieces. So that's going to be a tall order, but yeah, we do it. Or we need to try to do it. So he decided that he doesn't need to discard more cards and play the Care of Magical Creatures as his second action. So we gain an action from Knut, so I discard it. And we draw our mandatory card. Okay, this is nice. So now we can... Oh, I forgot I forgot to conceal my hand. Okay, so first action we play a Charms. Second action we play Standard Book of Spells. And of course this triggers Draco, so we get another action. And I think... So the question here is if I should play the other Standard Book of Spells. The problem is we don't have access to potions lessons. But if we use the book to draw for potions lessons, then he can discard them. Because we would be out of actions. So we just play the book to try to be less vulnerable to Draco's ability. And then, next turn we can discard this book to draw 3 cards, and then hopefully we see the power that we need. Looks like he's doing this in the wrong order, but that's okay. So he's using Draco anyway, and he's discarding the Dobby's Help. Yeah, this is going to be hard because we probably need 1 Dobby's Help to finish him off, and he's already gotten rid of 2, and there's only 4 in the deck. Okay, so for our mandatory draw, we got a Charms Lesson. We need we can only play 1 of the cards in our hand. Oh, I have to conceal again. I keep forgetting to do that. So we can only play 1 of the cards in our hand, the Charms Lesson. So we kind of need to draw for cards, and then we might as well use the Standard Book of Spells to do that. So I'm gonna use that to draw 3. Okay, so we got the Potions Lessons. We need to, if we want to trigger Draco, we need to play this Standard Book of Spells. So let's do that, and that triggers Draco. So we get another action, and we can use that to play a Potions Lesson. So now next turn, we can start playing these other items that we have. So we definitely have a lead in terms of power, but the fact that he can disrupt our combo in this way is really, really bad for us. So it looks like he's thinking... Oh, he's drawing an extra card. That's surprising. Oh yeah, so of course he can he can destroy our lesson card. So he's playing Cauldron to Sieve, a spell card that lets him discard a Potions Lesson from play. So yeah, he's not gonna make this easy for us. So I guess he's drawing for more lesson cards. He's trying to get to 4 power where he can play his cards. So we draw our mandatory card. Ooh, this is actually quite nice. We got the Dragonheart Wand. We will still need Potions power at some point, and I guess what he's going to try to do is lock us out of Potions power. But for now, let's just get more power, I figure. So we play a Charms Lesson. So that means we're at 5 power. Then we can play the Dragonheart Wand. It gets us to 8 power. We get an action from Draco. And then we can use our last action to play a Charms Lesson. So we're at 9 power, but we don't have any Potions power. And that is a problem. So we need to remedy that. We're going to try to do it by drawing with these books. Okay, so he's using Draco's ability. We don't mind him discarding these too much. There's just not a lot of... Yeah, we can't play them at the moment, and they're not particularly precious to us. Okay, so he's discarding the magical drafts and potions. I think that makes sense because all of these books are, again, probably something that we need to be able to pull off the combo against the Draco deck, since we can't let the combo pieces stay in our hand. Okay, so we draw for our turn. And we draw Self-Stirring Cauldron that, of course, we cannot use because it's a potions card. So we use Standard Book of Spells to draw 3. Alright, so we got a potions lesson. So we, we play it, although he's probably just going to discard it, but we need to keep trying. Oh, forgot to conceal my hand again. So, yeah, I'm thinking here. If he keeps discarding our potions lessons, that's gonna be really hard. But if he doesn't do it this turn, okay, so he's just drawing cards. So he's allowing us to use this. I'm gonna assume that he didn't have anything to discard the potions lesson, which is great news for us. And someone is ringing on my bell, but I can't let them in right now. Okay, so I play Magical Drafts and Potions. That gets us an action. And so let's see, we are at 5, 8, 10 power. We have all the power that we need. And oh, just a second. I guess it's a package. Be right back. All right, sorry about that. That's bad timing. But yeah, let's get back into the game. So I had just played the Magical Drafts and Potions, and that means I have 2 actions left over. And I figure I should just use those to get more power. Because when I use the books... Yeah, when I use the books, I need to still be at 10 power after I use the books so that I can play Dobby's Help and the other stuff. So let's play a Copper Cauldron, which returns our Potions Lesson to our hand. And then we play Potions Lesson, and we pass back to him. So let's think about this. How could we win this game? Oh, actually, this was pretty dumb, because I want the ability to. Okay, yeah. So he plays a black bat, which is going to deal 2 damage to us. So, yeah. So what I was trying to say is that we want 2 Potions Lessons in play, because that will allow us to play Self-Stirring Cauldron. But now we can't, because we didn't. And the reason we want to be able to play Self-Stirring Cauldron on the combo turn is it allows us to get an extra action, which will make it easier for us to pull off the combo. So we draw for a turn. Okay, maybe this is perfect. So now we drew a Knut, which can give us more power. Sorry, not more power. It will give us 1 extra action. So we can play the Knut so that we can get an extra action on our next turn. And then we can play the 2 lessons that we have. And on our next turn, we will have an extra action from Knut. He might discard the Self-Stirring Cauldron though, but if he doesn't, we will have 1 extra from Knut and 1 extra from playing the Self-Stirring Cauldron. I'm trying to think, is that possibly enough? I guess maybe it isn't. Okay, I'm gonna try to use the book then. Draw 3 cards. Because if we get Sickle, then maybe that's enough. Okay, so we play the Knut, which gives us an extra action. Then we play the Potions, and then we pass to him. But this is bad, because now he can use Draco to get rid of the Dobby's help. So, I don't know. Things are not going well. Yeah, so what I was thinking is, well, okay, my thinking wasn't exactly correct, but okay, so he's using Draco to get rid of 1 of our cards. So actually, I think Knut could be enough. So he's discarding Dobby's help. If we think about it, so if we have 4 actions, and with 1 of them we can draw 3 cards, then we could draw, in theory, we could draw 3 combo pieces. It's just highly unlikely. But maybe it's what we need to try to do. And I'm gonna conceal my hand. I actually remembered this time. Yeah, it's what we need to try to do to... Oh, plays another black bat. Yeah, it's like the only way we can win the game, I suppose. So 1 Venomous Tentacular Juice was discarded now as well from the black bat. So now the Knut triggers, so we have an extra action. Oh, I need to discard it. We draw the mandatory card. Okay, so now we have 3 actions because of Knut. If we play the Self-Stirring, it will give us 1, and then we will also trigger Draco. So that means we will be at 4. So in theory, we could win by using the Magical Drops and Potions. And I don't see another way, so I'm gonna do it. So we draw 3 cards. This is not exactly what I was hoping. But Sickle is not too bad. Because it gives us more actions at least. So I'm gonna draw, hope we... Nope, that's not useful. So we just play the Sickle. Oh, wait, I have one more action because of Knut. So I could draw another card before doing this. So we play the Sickle. We play a Potions Lesson. And now we take 4 damage. Alright, this is very, very anticlimactic matchup. And now we took the damage from his creatures, and we lost another Venomous Tentacular Juice. So our chances are... Oh, fuck. He's right, I cheated. Yeah, I spent too many actions. I'll just put back what I drew, I guess, if I remember correctly. Oh, damn, it's hard to play and talk at the same time. I always say this. Alright, so we agreed that I'll put back one of the cards that I drew, and I'll shuffle the deck. It's not a perfect solution, but fix it as best we can. Oh, this is bad. So he's using Double Disappearance to put our Sickle back. Yeah, this is looking very unwinnable. Okay, so he's using his Draco to discard one of her cards. He could actually do that 2 times to get rid of both of the Sickles. Yeah, he's getting rid of one Sickle, which logically means he probably wants to get rid of the second one. He doesn't have to. He already committed to discarding one card, so he has to pick something. And I guess, yeah, okay. So he's not really that worried about about the Sickle. He plays another creature to speed up our death, but I think our death is certain at this point, regardless. Okay, so this gives us a chance, technically. The Magical Drafts and Potions. Because that's another way that we can draw a lot of cards in one go. I guess so we have 7, 10, 12 power. There is a world in which he plays Picking on Neville on both the Dragonheart one and Copper Cauldron. And then we might still want more. We might want to have more power. So okay, I'm going to try to do this. Play the Sickle. I mean, instead of drawing cards, I can just play more cards that give power. Actually, that probably doesn't make any sense, because a Self-Stirring Cauldron gives us 2 more power anyway. So we take 6 damage from his creatures. And good news is he didn't discard any combo pieces. So there is one Dobby's Help left and 2 Venomous Tentacular Juice. So we could still get incredibly lucky and draw them all. if he doesn't get rid of our sickle. That is what we need to hope for here. Looks like he's thinking. Kind of makes sense for him to use Draco, I suppose, even if he doesn't really want to discard anything. He might want to use Draco here just to lower his hand size, because then it makes it even harder for us to pull off the combo, or sorry, to kill him with the combo. Although I think with the card count he has, yeah, we would still need 3 spells. Okay, he's playing Picking on Neville on the sickle, but we will discard 2 other cards because the sickle is just too important. So Picking on Neville again targets one of our cards, and we can discard 2 other cards or that card that he targeted. But we want to keep the sickle for sure. So let's see here. We have 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 power. The cards that are worth the least amount of power is the charms. And we don't really care about that anyway. Yeah, okay. So we discard the charms lessons. If we need more power, we can just play the self-stirring cauldrons. So we save the sickle. We still need to get incredibly lucky here, but the sickle gives us 2 extra actions, so it gives us a bit more of a chance. So we shake it to show that it's triggering. It means we will have 2 more actions this turn. Oh, he forgot to conceal the hand again. So we draw our mandatory card. Ooh, that's a good start. So the thing is, if we play 1 Dobby's Help, then he will have 13 cards in his hand and 31 cards left in his deck. And then when we play the Venomous Tentacular Juice, he will then have to draw twice the amount of cards in his hand, which is 26. Which means there will still be 5 cards left in the deck. So in order to kill him this turn, we would need to draw 3 combo pieces. So we have 4 actions right now. We use our first one to use this book. We draw 3 cards. We get another book. Okay. That's not really what we were hoping for. So if we don't use this Dobby's Help now, which is the last one we have, I think we don't have a chance of winning the game anymore. We still have 3 actions left. So let me try to think. If we play this Magical Drafts and Potions, we gain 1 action, we go to 3. Then we're still at 2 actions. I think we just have to play the Dobby's Help and then draw into the Tentacular Juices later. This could mean we die. This could mean he draws a bunch of Dobby's Disappearances that he plays. But we still have to do it. So we play this. We get an action from Draco. Then we play the Dobby's Help. So he draws 10 cards. So yeah, we are arming him with 10 cards. This is normally not something you want to do at all. But we don't have a choice. If we lose this, then there's definitely no way. So now we have at least we have a... If we take the 6 damage, we still have 5 cards and we can use the book to draw 3 more. So if he doesn't discard the last 2 Venomous Tentacular Juices, there's still a chance. Yeah, so we had 3, played this, still at 3, so we have 2 more actions. So we play a Charms and another Charms. And then we're going to take 6 damage. Actually, if we lose any Venomous Tentacular Juice, I think we're dead. Yeah, so one was discarded, meaning we have one left in our deck, meaning there is no way to win. I'll just concede. We can't win anymore. It's a good game. All right, so that's this first game. It seems like a pretty one-sided matchup, so I'm gonna try to. I mean, as I showed, it's still exciting to try to pull off the combo, but it seems so unlikely that you will be able to do it. So yeah, let's try another matchup for the next game. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna take a short break, and then we'll be right back with another matchup. So see you soon. All right, everybody, welcome back to the stream. Now we have what perhaps is a more fair matchup, but we don't know. This deck might still get destroyed. We're gonna roll to see who starts. So I'm playing against the Ron's Help deck that has been shown on the channel, which actually has the same win condition that we have, trying to kill our opponent with a combination of Dobby's Help and Venomous Tentacular Juice. However, because of the speed of our deck, I think we can get to... We're able to combo faster. But on the other hand, the Ron's Help deck has access to Muffling Draught that can stop us from doing our combo. So we might actually need to combo extremely early to win this matchup. And so we might still be losing. But let's see how it goes. So let's see. He rolled more, so I guess he's starting. Yeah, he rolled higher. So he's playing the Fat Lady and using her. So at least he's not getting an optimal start. He's gonna get Ginny probably. And we didn't get an optimal start, but it's not terrible either. So the optimal start is to get Knut and a Charms on your starting hand. So, okay, he searched out Seamus Finnegan. So next turn he will be able to play both Seamus and Ginny. Because we didn't draw Knut, that means we can't trigger a Draco on our first turn. Oh, actually, never mind. So on our starting draw, we got a Knut, and this actually makes this a lot better. Because now we can play a Charms and play Knut. That triggers Draco immediately. And then we have one more action to use. So let's play the Potions Lesson. Because that unlocks our ability to play Potions cards. That's a great start. It's incredible that we got it both times. Except last time we actually had a decent starting hand. It's just the matchup was horrible. And Draco was just able to methodically get rid of our combo pieces. So now he plays Seamus Finnegan, which, if you don't remember, he allows him to discard 2 cards from his hand to get 1 more action. Once per turn he can do this. And then he's using the Fat Lady. So the Fat Lady allows us you to use an action to search your deck and get a Gryffindor card. He gets Ginny Weasley. And Ron Weasley lowers the play cost of characters by 1, so you can use 1 action to play them. Yeah, so first action was Seamus, then he used Seamus, so that he still had 2. Then he used Fat Lady to get Ginny, and now he's going to play Ginny on his last action. Alright, so this will draw him a lot of cards. But hopefully we can get to our combo state before he gets to Muffling Draw. So now Knut triggers. So we'll discard itself. So we have 3 actions now. So we draw our card for the turn. And what we're trying to do now is just be able to do the combo. So I'm going to start by playing a Magical Drafts and the Standard Book of Spells. And this gives us an action from Draco. And then we have 2 more actions. So we can play 2 Charms. Oh, actually, wait, we have another action even. How do we deal with that? So yeah, we had 3 actions because of Knut. I think we just play the Charms, then we're at 5, and then we can play the Dragonheart Wand, and then we are already at... Wait, so we had 3 actions. Yeah, so this puts us at 3 actions again. We play, yeah, damn, it's only turn 2 and we already have such a crazy amount of power. That's insane. But I think that checks out. Let's see if he points out an error. But that means we're already in range to start playing Sickle. So maybe we will actually be able to do the combo before he can play Muffling Draught. And yeah, again, this illustrates just how, or this illustrates what I wanted to show. But in the last game, of course, the deck looked pathetic. But here, I think it really shows that the fact that you can get to 8 power on your second turn is crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Oh, but this is not what we wanted. So he plays Marcus Flint and uses him to discard 3 cards to force us to discard 3 cards from our hand. That's something he can do once per turn with Marcus Flint. And unfortunately, that gets rid of 2 cards that we really wanted. The Sickle, which would really help us pull off our combo, and Dobby's Help, which is a combo piece, and as such, incredibly important. Okay, so things looking way less bright. We might still have been 1 turn too late, despite our incredible start. But we don't know yet if he actually drew a Muffling Draught, so let's find out. So he's at 1 power now, and 2 with this Charms Lesson. That's his 3rd action, because he used Seamus to get an extra action. Okay, so we draw our card for the turn. We draw Dobby's Help, so that's 1 combo piece. Then we need more cards to do this, and we want to have as big of a chance as possible to draw an item so that we can trigger Draco this turn. So we draw 3 with our book rather than just using an action to draw cards. This is not great. So we drew a potions. We drew a potions lesson, a charms, and the Dragonheart wand. And the wand, of course, we doesn't really make sense to play it because we already have a wand in play, so we would need to discard it. So I think instead we just need to draw a card, because we need to get to an item card that we can play. And now we're out of actions, unfortunately, so we can't play this Copper Cauldron this turn. Yeah, that's sad. That Marcus Flint, it really messed with us. Okay, so he's, of course, now he gets to draw with Ginny, which is unfortunate. Because the likelihood that he gets a Muffling Draught before we can combo is really high. Oh, and then he has Quirrell as well. Damn. This deck is getting absolutely destroyed. Because Quirrell can, of course, return our items to our hand. If we had the perfect cards in our hand this turn, I think a kill would be possible. We could play a Potions Lesson, then play a Self-Stirring Cauldron, and get to... What would that put us at? 10 power, get 1 more action, and be at 2. Actually, no, still not enough, because we would only be able to play 2 spells. Damn. Yeah, so we are in a pickle. We draw our mandatory card for the turn. So we can play the Copper Cauldron. We get an action back, so it's worth it, I suppose. Well, the thing is, Quirrell just returns all the items to our hand. So we could 4, 7. If we just play the lessons, we get to 10 power, and then we are threatening to combo, but we don't actually have the combo. We only have Dobby's Help, and we don't have a Venomous Tentacular Juice. So it's kind of tricky. Do we bluff to try to get him to not draw? He probably will draw anyway. So what happens if we play the Copper Cauldron and then play 2 more lessons? That puts us at a 5, that's 10 power, but he could return cards with Quirrell. The next turn we could play Dragonheart Warden to get to 10, but that's still not enough. Okay, let's just play the lessons then. Oh, never mind. This is my mind is breaking here. We don't actually get to 10 power. Okay, let's try to just force him to use Quirrell. Because I feel like otherwise we can't develop what we want. Yeah, I guess another way is just drawing cards, but I feel like if we're not allowed to, if we're not playing our item cards, then this deck is not doing much. And he's not even playing Muffling Draught. He's just gonna kill us before we kill him. It's so rude. Okay. Oh, he is playing Muffling Draught. Okay. Oh, this looks really bad. So this means we can't play spell cards on our next turn. And ooh, and if we had been able to play spell cards, well, would this be enough? Yeah, because we're at 10 power. So if we had been able to play spell cards this turn, we could have played Dobby's Help to get him to 17 cards, and then play the Venomous Tentacular Juice, which would make him draw enough cards for us to win the game. But now we can't do it. I think what we want to do then is just get ourselves as low as we can on cards so that he can't kill us with just 2 combo pieces. Force him to use 3. Because if we draw 2 cards here, we get to 7. I'm trying to think, is that enough to kill us with just 2 combo pieces? Well, we want to stay out of range either way. There's no need to dig for more cards because we have the cards we need to kill him in our hand. And if we play 2 lessons here and he uses Quirrell, we can play the Dragonheart Wand and get 1 action back and still have enough actions to play the cards in our hand. So I think this is correct. Oh, yeah, and these actually, they don't even matter because... well, what I'm saying is the items don't actually matter right now because the one shop that he played, it doubles not only his own charms power, but also our charms power. So these charms lessons provide 8. So we have way more power than we need. But the problem is he can keep playing these Muffling Draughts probably. I don't think it's possible for him to win this turn, but yeah, as long as he can keep playing the Muffling Draughts, doesn't matter. So he's playing Madame Pomfrey. Using Seamus Finnegan. And playing another Muffling Draught. So we still can't play spell cards next turn. Okay, and he just passes to us. Yeah, so we'll just try to stay out of range of dying. So what he's looking to do now, he should be able to kill us next turn, but he needs 3 combo pieces to do it. So let's just get rid of as many cards as we can. So we play at the Dragonheart Wand, discarding the other one. We play the Sickle. We get an extra action from Draco, but we don't want to use it. It doesn't matter at this point. He can't... Yeah, he can't discard the 2 cards that are in our hand because he already played the Marcus Flint. Well, actually, he could do it with Draco, but Draco wouldn't. Draco can choose anything he wants anyway, so there's no need to pad our hand. Okay, it looks like he's going to kill us this turn, so now he's forcing us to draw 10 with Dobby's help as his first action. And of course he can do this because he has 5 charms and they're all doubled in terms of power. And he's playing another one. Yep. And I'm assuming he's gonna play Seamus and then use Venomous Tentacular Juice to kill us. So Snape provides the potion's power that he needs to do that. So he's using Seamus to discard 2 more Dobby's help. So apparently wait, how is that possible? Oh, no. Never mind. I'm confused. I think he accidentally added Dobby's help back to his hand, so that was what he was doing. So he's discarding 2 cards for Seamus, and he's playing the Venomous Tentacular Juice. And since we have 22 cards in our hand, that means that would mean we have to draw 44 cards, and we only have 23, so that's game. Good game. All right. Now we just need to figure out the next matchup. But yeah, about this one... yeah, it seems if it was the older version of the Run's help deck, then maybe we would have a chance. But because he's able to stop us from comboing so early with Muffling Draught, it creates quite a problem for us. Yeah, so you haven't really gotten to see this Draco Slytherin deck shine. Maybe there is a matchup where it can. But for now, let's switch perspectives so you get to see the other Draco Malfoy deck against a different deck. So let me check with him. So what I'm suggesting is that I will play the Draco deck with that's the other Draco deck that can discard cards, and he's gonna play the McGonagall deck, which is more of a standard so-called normal deck, and we'll see how that works. Because yeah, normally you want to. You really want to start with this Draco deck, and against normal decks you want to be discarding lessons, of course, again. So he rolled 2, and I rolled 15. So we get to start, and okay, yeah. So if we get to start, that means normally. Your opponent, while they're playing a so-called normal deck, will have at least 2 lessons in their hand, in their starting hand. And you can get rid of 2 of those on your first turn then as a Draco. Now, because this McGonagall deck only plays Care of Magical Creatures lessons, that means out of these spells that discard a specific kind of card from lesson card from play, the only one we can use against him is Aviforce. So let's use Draco and discard Cancelled Practice to have a look at his hand, and then we can start discarding lessons, so we can make it really hard for him to set up. So we see 3 lessons in his hand, so we try to get rid of 2 of them. Or we will get rid of 2 of them. And the other cards, Lost Notes, Stubborn's Disappearance, and 2 Capybaras. So already it looks like we will make it really hard for him to set up. Although I'm noting that we are also going to have trouble because we only drew 1 lesson, which is a bit unfortunate. If we can get our Transfiguration lesson, we can discard 1 more lesson with Aviforce. All right, so looks like he did that in the wrong order. Usually you want to draw first. Actually, it doesn't matter. He will always play the Care of Magical Creatures lessons because those are the only cards he can play right now. Okay, so we draw our card for the turn. So we could discard this Cauldron to Sieve to look at his hand and see if he maybe drew a lesson card on that last action. Yeah. I think I want to do that. Do we have a look? So he did not draw a lesson. So I figure let's discard the cheapest card because that's the one he could play first. The Dubious Disappearance. And then our second action will be playing a Care of Magical Creatures. And then we pass back to him. So this is... the Draco deck is doing well today, but of course it started this game, which makes such a big difference for how these games go. Okay, so it looks like he's just drawing right now. He's passing to us. Okay. We still need to get Transfiguration. So if he drew a lesson on any of those draws, so he drew 3 cards, 1 the mandatory, and then he used his 2 actions to draw. If he drew a lesson on the first 2, he would have played it, because that means that we can't discard it from his hand. So the question I guess we're asking ourselves is did he draw a lesson on the 3rd draw? But maybe, yeah, maybe I'm being too greedy with the discarding. Maybe we need to actually set up our own board here. Because after the first turn, the usefulness of it really goes down. Yeah, let's just... Well, do we want to draw ourselves, or do we just want to ensure that he doesn't have a lesson in his hand right now? That's the question. I think we want to draw. Then we play... Well, we could discard this and have a look at his hand. Yeah, we just play a lesson and pass. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should try to disrupt there or not. He did, so he drew 1 time and then played a Care of Magical Creatures, so it looks like he top decked 1 and then played it. But we will never know. Oh, we drew a Black Bat. That's not great. So now we might want to discard cards just to prevent him from playing the cards that he has that require a low amount of lessons. It's really unfortunate that we still don't have Transfiguration power, because then we could discard one of his cards. Sorry, discard one of his lessons from play. Yeah, so let's use Draco, look at his hand. Okay, so he doesn't have... So we get rid of the picking on Neville, because that's he can use to discard one of our lessons when he gets to 4 power, which he might get to really soon. And actually, for that reason, we might want to use Draco again and get rid of the other one. Of course, if he gets to 5, he can still play the Lost Notes. So it's a bit of a losing game right now. We need to get Transfiguration powered so that we can discard the lessons that he has in play, and we also need to get these creatures into play. Because eventually, because he plays so many lessons in his deck, I think, yeah, it's 28 lessons in this deck, he will eventually get to the amount of power that he needs. Okay, so please, Transfiguration. Yes, there we go. That's how you draw. So now we play a Transfiguration, and we play, and now we can play Aviforce, which discards one of his Care of Magical Creatures lessons. And so he should still be locked out of place on his next turn, but of course he's going to be drawing for lessons and playing them. Yeah, despite the lucky draw, I don't know if it's going to be enough, because we are, of course, spending a lot of cards and actions on discarding his stuff. So I think a reason why this doesn't work as well as maybe it would against I think this deck works better against decks that play at least 2 types of lessons, because then you know, the odds that we could have used one of these other cards to discard something for play is much higher. But now there's only one of them that was actually useful in that way. So if we were able to discard one more here, it would, you know, be quite a significant delay. But now we're kind of stuck digging for more lesson cards. So we didn't get one. I wonder if we should use Draco here. So he played a Care of Magical. So he drew a played a Care of Magical Creatures. Well, we know if he gets to 5 that he can. There's more than one card he can play. So I feel that that's a lost cause. And well, I guess no. Yeah, let's draw for lessons. We really need them at this point. Still no lessons. So it looks like we will eventually be overwhelmed. So Draco slowed the game down by quite a bit, but as long as he gets another lesson now, he should be in good shape. Oh, and he plays one as early as his first turn. And then he's able to play Lost Notes. Presumably he's going to discard the Transfiguration. Yeah, he does. So this locks us out of Transfiguration cards. Puts us in a pretty bad spot. Passes back to us. So we draw a card for the turn. Yeah, we can't afford to just be drawing for lessons now. I think if we use Draco here, we might be able to lock him out of cards that he's actually able to play. So I'm going to try to do that. And if we're lucky... Yeah, so, okay. So the one card he can play is the Prickly Porcupine. So we get rid of that. And actually, he has another lesson in his hand. So we can get rid of that. All right, that's okay. That's a good hit. That was a good use of Draco, because all the other cards require 7 or more. So that means in order to play those cards at least, he needs to get 2 more power. Of course, we are only at 2 power ourselves, so still looking really bad. Yeah, I think in order to show this deck where it shines, we want to play against the deck that plays 2 or more lesson types, and preferably not as many lessons as this deck, because this one plays 28, so it's kind of a losing battle trying to get rid of all of his lessons. Eventually he replaces them, or he replaces them too fast. With a bigger percentage in the deck, then he just wrote Stalwarts, and that's incredibly true. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we just need more lessons. All right, back to him. But yeah, this is still bad. But so if we can get to 4 power way before he gets to 7, we can start, you know, applying pressure with these creatures. Actually, one thing that I realize now, I don't remember how many Crazed Capybaras I saw, but if we can discard all of his creature cards, then we can actually stop him from winning the game. Then he doesn't have a way to kill us. I wish I remember. Did I see 3 crazed capybaras? So he's at 6 power now. I think I need to use Draco here. So I discard Dobby's Disappearance, look at his hand. Yeah, if he gets these... Oh, he has 4. Okay. If my memory was better, this... Okay, but actually, we can discard this lesson to delay him. And I guess it's kind of... So we could use our second actions to discard a capybara, but at this point I think it's a lost cause. If we discard 1 now, yeah. I'm not sure. So if we discard 1 now, we could discard 2 next turn. We still need a way though to discard the 1 capybara he plays, and he's going to be discarding our lessons. So I think what we need to hope is that he doesn't draw the lesson he needs, and that we can get our creatures out before he gets to do all that nasty stuff. So if you're playing in a very competitive setting, you should of course be taking notes on what you saw with Draco. Oh, this is bad. So he top decked the lesson that he needs. Yeah, and then he can target our lessons. So 1 has to be discarded and another returned to our hand. This is what Scribbly Force does. You choose 2 cards. We have to put 1 in our discard and 1 in our hand. And now he's at 7 power. Yeah, I think it's fair to just concede at this point. There's no way to no way to get out of this. I'm just gonna say GG. Yeah, let's see if we can try it against another deck. Yeah. Yeah. So now we're trying to be nice to the Draco deck. And to do that, we're deciding to play against the Hooch deck, and this is to show what the Draco deck might look like if you're playing against a deck that's playing 2 types of lessons and that's playing fewer lessons. Also, so it looks like I won't get to start, so probably we will still get destroyed here, and I won't get to show the beauty of the idea here. But you can at least imagine in your head that we discard 2 lessons from his hand the first turn, and then we have these cheap spells to get rid of his lessons. So he's using Hooch to get a broom from his deck. Of course, all the decks shown today are up on the channel, except the 2 that were introduced today. So if you want to see the details of the strategies of these, then go check that out. So he got Shooting Star into his hand, plays Care of Magical Creatures as his first action, and Transfiguration as his second. Okay, that makes sense. So we draw for the turn. We're going to use Draco. Yeah, it's such a big difference between starting and not starting here. Okay. Yeah, this looks very bad for us. So he has Garden Gnomes that discard a card at the end of each of our turns, picking a Neville as well. I think what I want to do here is So there's so many cards I want to get rid of here. Because if he gets one more power, he's able to play Garden Gnomes, Picking on Neville, and Shooting Star. If we can just survive for one more turn, meaning if he doesn't get to 4 power on his next turn, we can play Restricted Section and get rid of his Transfiguration, and that will buy us more time and also lock him out of playing his Transfiguration cards. So I'm going to hope he... I guess if he draws a Lesson now, he could play both the Lesson and the Shooting Star. So I'm going to choose the Shooting Star. That is kind of like a Lesson because it provides 1 power if he gets to play it. And then we pass back to him. Might be the wrong call, but don't want to spend the whole stream thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I forgot to use my second action. Yeah, I'm clearly... I guess I'm a bit tired today. So he draws his card. And if that's a Lesson, he should just play it. He does. Yeah, this is terrible. There's no way we can get back. So I'm asking him if I can concede and we do a quick regame where I get to start because I want to show off what Draco looks like in that scenario. Now that doesn't mean we will win, but at least then we might get to show the sort of the idea. Again, Draco deck not the most powerful, but it's a weapon that, well, it's an interesting concept, and if you get to start, then there's a good chance there. It's an interesting concept. Oh yeah. All right, so now we start. So now we better draw a good hand. Yeah, this will do. No, it won't. This isn't the greatest, but we'll make do. Yeah, so we have a bunch of Lessons, which is okay, but we don't have stuff that discards lessons. This cancelled practice, of course. He doesn't have Quidditch lessons, and Cauldron. So cancelled practice doesn't work, and Cauldron to Civ doesn't work because he doesn't have potions lessons. So we can discard those. Discard the. Okay, and he only has one lesson. So we get rid of that one. All right, well, I guess that saves us the trouble of discarding one more time. So let's just play a Transfiguration. And then we just hope that we draw into the spells that we want here. Yeah, so he's using his first action to draw, second action to play a Transfiguration. So first action we draw. So yeah, we'll try to not be too ambitious with the Draco this time. We just try to get the Black Bat rolling as early as possible. This will also, if we get to 4 power, this will also unlock Picking on Neville and Dobby's Disappearance. So yeah, he drew an extra one, then played a Transfiguration. I have to ask if he had Shooting Star in his hand, because he hasn't used Hooch ability, and I guess the only reason would be if he already drew it, and I wasn't paying too much attention. Maybe he doesn't want to use it to because he doesn't want Draco to discard it, but it's actually all right. Yeah, he's trying to wait it out, I guess, because Draco can discard it. That might be a good idea, because it's the one way he gets the 5 power. But okay, we continue with our game plan here. One thing, I guess, of course, one thing I forgot about is we can use Dobby's Disappearance to return a card to his hand, and then use Draco to discard that card, which is an important interaction. Gives us another use for Draco and makes it so we have a better way to get rid of lessons. Okay, so it looks like he drew an extra card again, and then he played a Transfiguration. So we draw a card for the turn. We start by playing Dobby's Disappearance, so we can get one of his lessons back. And then we can use Draco to discard that lesson. And we can also see if there are more lessons in the hand now. But there isn't, so we discard the Transfiguration. That's nice. And then we just try to apply more pressure so we can hopefully kill him before he gets rolling. So we play the Black Bat. Yeah, so finally this is actually a game. I mean, if he draws the lesson now right away, it might not be a game anymore. But we are ahead on creatures and on lessons. And again, this is because he has to spend all of this time drawing extra cards to get his lessons. All right, he plays a care of magical creatures, and that is his first action. So he can start doing mean things. This looks incorrect to me, but he's playing fouled, so that one deals 4 damage to us. It's been seen on previous streams, and also it gives us 1 fewer action on our next turn. What I was thinking he would do is play Picking on Neville. So Epoximize, of course, not useful. We only have 1 action this turn, so play the Eagle. And then we pass to him. Yeah, it's not looking too bad, because he can play 2 Picking on Neville's this turn, but he can't get rid of more than 2 creatures. And then on our next turn, we still have 2 actions to use. So then we could use Draco, get rid of whatever is the most troubling card in his hand, I suppose. Okay, he's playing another fouled. Not sure about the reasoning here. I think he either needs to start killing our creatures, or he could get his broom from his deck now with Hooch, because he still hasn't done that, and then play the broom to get to 5 power, and then he can start playing cards like Lost Notes and get rid of our lessons. And if he does that, then yeah, he can maybe lock us out of playing more creature cards by... Well, actually, I'm not too sure that's a good idea. Yeah, because we already have enough creatures on the board. But yeah, there's 2 options: killing the creatures or trying to get rid of lessons to stop us from playing more cards. But again, so we only have 1 action this turn. I guess we'll use Draco then. Yeah, because these Epoximize, they're not useful. All right, so next turn he can still get the broom, or can he? Yeah, the broom has not been discarded, so he could still get the broom on his next turn. And then the question is, I suppose, which one of these are we the most worried about? I think the Cunning Fox, because that deals more damage than our creatures. Well, if he gets enough of those on the board, then he could deal more damage. Yeah, so he still has another one. But if next turn he plays Lost Notes, then we can get rid of the other Cunning Fox. So now he's using Hooch to get the broom. Unfortunately, this game we were not able to show off what I was hoping we would with these cheap spell cards, getting rid of lessons early on. Of course, you know, it is a bit of a silly deck, so it won't always work. Okay, so now he got the broom, he played it, and he got the Cunning Fox into play. So now we draw a card for the turn. All right, there we go. Force can get rid of his Care of Magical Creatures, so that's pretty cool. So we can use our first action to play, to use Draco. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I think picking on Neville is good here, because to get rid of. Because that one could get rid of one of our creatures. And we don't care about the Garden Gnome, the other cards. So we play the Force, and we get rid of his Care of Magical Creatures. So now because... So we're going to take 3 damage from the Cunning Fox. And now because he has Shooting Star, that gives him the power to discard a card from his hand and draw 2 cards. So it's quite easy for him to replace these lessons. But still, that if he does that, that would still be 2 actions to first draw and then play the lesson. So that would take up his entire turn. And then he would take 4 more from the Black Bats. We will take 4 from this foul, though. And that will also put us back in action on our next turn. Oh, and his first action was to play Care of Magical Creatures. Alright, so we draw for the turn. Yeah, so we only have 1 action now. I think we just use Draco for our 1 action. And yeah, I still think the Garden Gnome is irrelevant, so we get rid of the Lost Notes, because that could stop us from playing more creatures. And then when we pass back to him, we take 3 from the Cunning Fox. Still looking okay, because he doesn't have that many tools left in his deck that can get rid of our creatures. I don't know if he even has any tools. Let's see. I guess picking on Neville is the only permanent removal, but yeah, so 2 of those are gone. There's 2 more picking on Neville. His main way maybe to win here is to play more creatures so that he deals damage to us faster than we are dealing damage. He played another Care of Magical Creatures, I guess, as a way to preempt us from discarding them. I think it would have made more sense to just look for more cards. Or I guess maybe not. Maybe he's afraid to draw too many cards because he has so few left. But I think that's still the only way to get out of this. So I get maybe what he's thinking is that if he has 6 power, which he does right now, and we destroy one of his lessons, with this setup he could still play more foxes next turn. Yeah, so I guess the Aviforce wouldn't really do anything right now. So let's try to use Draco instead. Yeah, okay. I mean, it makes sense that he wouldn't have anything useful in his hand, but because he was playing the Care of Magical Creatures. So now things are looking really good. Let's have a look again. So I think 3 picking on Neville are gone. I see 4 Dobby's Disappearance are gone as well. So he can't really get rid of our creatures anymore. And I think this means that we will win the game. So you see how different these games can go depending on who starts. I just wanted to showcase this for just one game. Of course, this game we were pretty lucky in that he only drew 1 lesson on his starting hand. So we didn't even have to use a second action and a card on getting rid of another lesson. But still, that is roughly the same kind of start. So imagine he drew 2 lessons. I think we would still be winning in that case. Okay, so now he played a Cunning Fox and a Garden Gnome. And so he is dealing more damage than we are now. Right, okay, so we drew a Dobby's Disappearance. And right now, all we really care about is the amount of damage that we are taking. So we won't try to get rid of his lessons, we're just trying to get rid of his creatures. So we return this Cunning Fox to his hand with Dobby's Disappearance. We get an extra action, and then we can use Draco Malfoy to discard that Cunning Fox. And then we won't draw an extra card with our last action. We did get an extra action from Dobby's Disappearance, and we won't use that action because we would have to discard that card anyway to Garden Gnome. So we just pass to him. We take 3 damage. And I'm pretty sure the game is over. But looks like he's not ready to give up quite yet. So let's see what he wants to do. So he's drawing as his first action. And he only has 6 cards left. Even if he gets a picking on Neville now, it doesn't help him. If you place it on the black bats. So I guess this game, you saw he had a couple of Vanishing Referees in his hand, and that is a tech card for the character decks. And I guess you got to see now how you can be punished for playing tech cards as well. A tech card is a card that's used. You put in your deck specifically to deal with one kind of matchup, but since that card basically does nothing against this deck, he lost quite a bit of opportunities there. If it had been the other card, it would have been much better. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good game. He would die to the black bats next turn. I mean, once I pass back to him. All right. So let me get back to the screen over here. So I would like to say, yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Sorry for the weird hiccups with delivery and me refusing to go out at first. But anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Next week on Tuesday as well, at 7 Swedish time, we'll be presenting 2 new character decks. So I hope you stay tuned for that. And of course, those decks will be duking it out. And just like this stream, we will see some matchups between decks that have already been presented on the channel as well. If you have thoughts, suggestions, or any comment, then please leave that in the comment section. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.